At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
Westwood One Sports presents Josh Graham.
Welcome to the Josh Graham Show. We're with you until 7 p.m. Eastern Time, which means we'll be bringing you updates from the final round of the Masters. The story right now is that Rory McIlroy is melting down yet again. He was 12 under par, had a record 6-shot lead through 36 holes. Currently, since then, 3 over for the tournament, 3 over his final 18 holes, the last 18 holes, or pardon, the last, we can do math here, 24 holes that he's completed. He's at 9 over under par for the tournament. That has him 3 shots back of Cameron Young, who actually just bogeyed 6. So Cameron Young's lead is 11 under par, 1 better than Russell Henley and Justin Rose, 2 better than Rory McIlroy and Scottie Scheffler. We'll be keeping you posted on the Masters throughout the day. And with the Masters in mind, here's our question of the day. What is the funniest movie line you can yell after somebody's tee shot? That seems like an oddly specific question to be leading today's show with. But channeling Mel Gibson and the 90s thriller Ransom, here was a patron at Augusta National yesterday following one of Rory's tee shots.
Give me back my son!
It's worth noting that Rory's shot went way left on that shot. But could the patron have quoted a better movie? Will Dalton is the producer of this show. 310-840-4910. Could you do better than this right here, where channeling Mel Gibson and Ransom, give me back my son!
Give me back my son!
Can you do better than that, Will Dalton? Can you top that? Is that the right movie choice? You know this guy's a cinephile who showed up to the course thinking, you know what would be funny if I'm next to one of those boom mics as the leader's teeing off, yelling out a quote from a 90s Mel Gibson movie. Can you do better?
Get off my plane.
Wow. Now that's good. That's great.
Yeah.
See,
It's gotta be
here are the
simple.
keys here. You know, if you are going to nominate something to us at 310-840-4910, if you're going to do that, there are two keys here. It has to be a one-liner, obviously. Can't be something long. It has to be a line that is yelled as well. Like, those are the keys to this. It can't necessarily be something that is whispered or said quietly. Don't know if you have the same effect if it's Rosebud. Well, no, it's something that has to be heard. You don't get that reference. You haven't seen Citizen Kane. Get out of here. But the first things that come to mind for great yelling movie lines that might be pretty good. This is Sparta. Like, if you were quoting, how great would that be if Cameron Young were teeing off and the next thing you hear is, are you not detained? Some Gladiator.
I do like that. That's
What
pretty good.
pitch? Which of these pitches would be funnier, Will? These are both, they both feature the word child in it. What would be funnier? I have a child? Billy Idol? Or wait, Billy Zane in Titanic trying to get on one of those lifeboats? Would that be funnier to hear? Or Daniel Day-Lewis in There Will Be Blood? I've abandoned my child.
Wow, these are some great options.
Just imagine it at a golf course. Again, listen to the delivery here. This guy is at the Masters and boom, he just has Mel Gibson ready to throw at you.
Give me back my son!
He's ready on the pull trigger. So the timing's key. The shots hit. I've abandoned my
Dude.
child.
No. It's got to be, are you not detained?
That's
That
the one.
would be
Okay.
terrific.
310-840-4910 if you want in. Well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put together a working list. In the next segment, I'm going to put together a working list of lines that would be funniest to deliver after tee shots if you're a patron at the Masters that might be captured by microphones on the broadcast. I'm gonna, it might be 5 movies long or 5 movie lines long. It might be 10. We'll see what we come up with. But your submissions, they are worthy. 310-840-4910. Jim's in Seattle. He's got one for us. Jim, what would you be yelling if you were in that spot?
Yeah, in the movie, A League of Your Own, it said, there's no crying in baseball. You can yell, there's no crying in golf.
I honestly think, Jim, it would be funnier if it was baseball. Like, you're at a golf event and then you hear, there's no crying in baseball. It's pretty good. Thanks for the call, Jim. That's awesome. Tom Hanks has a number of lines that you could use. How great would it be if you heard Greenbow, Alabama? Or if we're going Forrest Gump, you just have one guy extending his right arm in the air. Forrest Gump! The guy speaking at that rally. Oh, that might be the one. Tee shot. Forrest Gump! The leaderboard is exactly what you want at the Masters, by the way. It is fabulous. Could you ask for more Sunday at the Masters? Some might even say, are you not detained? Because Justin Rose just tied Cameron Young at the top of the leaderboard. Justin Rose, who last year was locked in that playoff with Rory McIlroy and wasn't able to finish the job. Scotty Scheffler is there lurking, 2 shots back. Rory McIlroy right there as well. The 2 best golfers in the world, and then you got Cameron Young and Russell Henley in the middle of them. They've never won a major championship before. Americans who have never won it before. You can't really ask for more from a leaderboard than what we have currently. This segment sponsored by Progressive Commercial Insurance, protecting small businesses with affordable coverage options. Get a quote today at progressivecommercial.com. This is the final day of the NBA regular season, which means Black Monday is upon us, and there is expected to be wholesale changes in the NBA's coaching ranks. There's expected to be somewhere between 8 to 10 openings. More than 25% of the coaches, head coaches in the NBA, going to be turned over. The Pelicans and Blazers already open. Apparently both expressed interest in Michael Malone before he ended up taking the North Carolina job in college. There are so many coaches that are rumored to be on hot seats. Chris Finch at Minnesota, Nick Nurse at Philadelphia. The Magic could come free. Doc Rivers is on thin ice in Milwaukee. Maybe Billy Donovan moves into the Bulls front office, opening a head coaching position there. Sacramento won't come free. Doug Christie, he's going to be coming back to the Kings. But this is a big story to follow related to the NBA coaching carousel. College coaches. Get ready, because there are going to be college head coaches that are targeted for some of these NBA jobs. Because the reality is, in 2026, some of the best coaches in basketball are in the collegiate ranks. Because not only are you responsible for, in college, coaching a team, you also have to be the GM as well, especially in the revenue sharing era. So the ability of these college coaches, it's much more all-encompassing, and it's more of a year-round job. It requires more. So if you succeed in college, it's almost like a weighted vest when you go to the NBA and you're asked to do less than you were doing in college. You can be more effective in the NBA by that theory. It's why you see some of the college guys glowingly talk about their experience when transitioning to the NBA. Wait, I just get to focus on being a coach rather than doing all this other stuff. Now, there are some cons that come along with that. Some coaches don't like the fact that in the NBA, you're more of a mid-manager than you are the CEO in college. You're a much smaller cog in the puzzle, thus you have less control over the roster and in turn your job security. But here are, well, before we get to the names that could be targeted for some of these jobs, how about we talk about some of the coaches that aren't leaving? You're going to hear some names discussed that just aren't going. Michigan's Dusty May, that should be done. A week ago, there was the report that he wasn't going to leave for any college jobs, essentially taking his name out of the North Carolina gig. But there was specific language in the reporting, college jobs he wouldn't leave for. Well, Dusty May signed an extension with Michigan this week. He put to bed any rumors that he would bail after a national championship. Plus, he's building a monster roster right now for next year. The other name that's not leaving is UConn coach Dan Hurley. Yes, he considered the Laker job, but that's also the Lakers. That's also LeBron James, and he turned it down. No job comes close to the appeal of that one that's going to come free this cycle. So here are 3 names who have never coached in the NBA, but might be appealing to GMs. Duke head coach John Shire. Especially if he gets the call to return to Chicago, his hometown. He has the demeanor you want as an NBA coach. He's done the impossible, stepping into Coach K's shoes and winning a lot. Not having any type of a setback in recruiting, and he's a forward-thinking guy and relates well to his players. He seems a lot like Brad Stevens, and it makes sense because Brad Stevens is apparently one of his mentors. Florida head coach Todd Golden. Already won a title at Florida. Billy Donovan might have perhaps set this path. If you're Orlando, do you at least check on Golden to see if he would be interested? big analytics guy, which front offices are going to like. Todd Golden, a name to circle. Going to throw one more wild card out there, too. BYU head coach Kevin Young. He was an NBA assistant for 8 years prior to becoming the Cougars head coach, stepping in for Mark Pope when Pope returned to his alma mater at Kentucky. And one of the teams he was on was a NBA Finals runner-up team with Phoenix, 2021. He's recruited top talent, including A.J. Devonta. His teams have performed decently. Last year, they went to, what was it? Either the Sweet 16 or the Elite 8. I think it was the Sweet 16. And brought in A.J. Devonta. Got NBA ties, got NBA experience. We'll throw Kevin Young's name in there as well. So don't be surprised that when the coaching carousel starts to spin, that there are college coaches that are included in some of these NBA searches. 310-840-4910. Let's go to Jeff, who's in South Carolina. Jeff, give me what you think a great movie quote would be following a tee shot and you're caught on a hot mic saying something. What's the line you're going with?
This town needs an enema.
Is that Batman?
Yeah.
That's outstanding. Oh, that's great. I'm going to top you. I'm going to top you real quick, Jeff. I'm going to respond. I'm going to counter your Jack Nicholson Joker with another Jack Nicholson Joker and say, he stole my balloons. That's it.
That would work.
Counter.
So many quotable lines in that movie.
I think he would. Thanks so much for the call. That's great. Will Dalton got an audible chuckle out of him.
I love that
Stole
line
my
so
balloons.
much.
Stole
So
my balloons. The man who broke most of the news regarding North Carolina's basketball search and hiring Michael Malone, Greg Barnes of Inside Carolina, is going to be our guest next hour. He's going to be dropping by at around 5:20. Make sure 5:20 Eastern. Make sure you're subscribed to our podcast, to our YouTube channel, searching Westwood One Sports Night. That's where you can watch us in addition to listening to us, however and wherever you choose to consume us. We greatly appreciate that. I'm refining, Will, my working list of funny movie lines to yell after a tee shot. Think I have it down to 5 right now. 310-840-4910. In addition to that, in addition to revealing that working list, some of the NFL's future stars are going to be drafted a week and a half from now. Who are those likely stars? That's next on The Josh Graham Show.
As your official home of the NFL, we'll take you inside the NFL Draft with exclusive interviews and insight of the draft picks and the team selecting them. Get ready. We're 2 weeks away. Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
Westwood One Sports presents Josh Graham.
At the turn, final round at Augusta. Justin Rose has a 2-shot lead. Cam Young bogeys, Justin Rose birdies, and you have that swing. 2 shots up on McIlroy and Young and Henley. Rose trying to avenge the playoff holes lost to McIlroy last year, looking to get that green jacket. Here's a question we're asking. What's the funniest movie line that you can yell after somebody's tee shot? That's what we're asking here on the Josh Graham Show, because this fan, this patron at Augusta National yelled this at Augusta yesterday.
Give me back my son!
Such a deep pull. Will Dalton, you probably haven't even seen Ransom starring Mel Gibson, have you?
No, I have not. I haven't seen
Hopefully
a lot of
that
Mel Gibson
inspires you to watch that. He's a yeller. There's a lot of Mel Gibson that you could potentially yell. You could think, they could never take away our freedom! Freedom! Some good ones. 310-840-4910 if you want in. Let's go to Elwood in South Carolina. Elwood, what would you be yelling after a tee shot at Augusta if you knew that the microphones were going to capture the movie line you're quoting?
What's up, fellas? Great topic so far. Great show so far. So to me, it's all about the intensity, right? So if somebody blasts a tee shot, I'm throwing give him the heater, Ricky.
Give him the heater, Ricky.
Choice. Exactly.
Yeah.
And then the second choice would be from Troy. Is there no one else?
We're going Brad Pitt, Troy. I didn't know you had that in your bag. Sorry, wasn't familiar with your game. Does anybody like that movie? Troy? Brad Pitt? That was supposed to be this amazing movie. And there are some great action scenes in it, don't get me wrong. But don't know if that's a movie that a lot of people were going back to. But give him the heater, Ricky. That's magical. That's outstanding. That actually has me thinking of Dodgeball. If you wanted to go with a quick one-liner from Dodgeball, you could do one of two things. Thank you, Chuck Norris. R.I.P. to Chuck. Or you could go, that was her changeup. Talking about Fran. Not even going to try the last name. Got the working list that we're going to do momentarily. But getting to the NFL draft, we're a week and a half away from the NFL draft being here. Who is going to be the biggest star from this year's draft? There are three that come to mind standing out more than anybody else. You're going to have stars come from this draft, and these are the guys that are most likely to check that box once we get there. Starts with Fernando Mendoza. That's the obvious one. He's the best player in college football. He's the almost consensus number one prospect in the draft. His story's known by all, with Indiana, which has the largest alumni base in America, winning an improbable national championship. He is a built-in star going into the league. He plays the most important position in sports. There's a gulf between him and the next best quarterback in this class. He's going to be paired with Clint Kubiak, an offensive guru. He's going to be under the tutelage of Tom Brady, the minority owner in Vegas. He's in one of the entertainment hubs of the world, Las Vegas. He's going to be a star. The next name is Notre Dame running back Jeremiah Love. He's a destined star too, but destination's going to be key with him. He's not going to be a star if he goes to the Siberia of the NFL, the New York Jets, or if he goes to the Arizona Cardinals. Ask Marvin Harrison Jr. since he was drafted there. Heck, even if he goes to Cleveland, with all due respect to Shedeur Sanders, don't think that that's a great spot for him. The two places he's most commonly mocked to go, Tennessee at 4, the Giants at 5. If he goes to either of those places, he's a star. In either instance, he would go to a place with a promising second-year quarterback, Jackson Dart or Cam Ward, and a revamped coaching staff. The Giants have John Harbaugh and a really good assistant coaching staff, a good coaching staff from top to bottom. And the Titans brought in Robert Saleh and Brian Daboll, which is a really big deal. Running backs generally pop earlier in their careers than other positions, so Love could be an impact player right away. Going to cheat a little bit on the third guy. The third most likely star is whoever the Kansas City Chiefs take at 9. See, out of all the teams that will pick in the top 10, nobody has a better shot at making the playoffs than Kansas City does. So the exposure of an impact player being played in the being taken from the top 10, the exposure of doing so on a team that's good will elevate your star status. This is the first top 10 pick that Kansas City's made since moving up to take Patrick Mahomes in 2017. And it seems that either edge rusher or receiver will be the position they take. If it's one of those two, they'll immediately be thrust into the limelight as a premium position player. Kansas City's had top 30 visits with USC's Mekhi Lemon and Ohio State's Carnell Tate at the receiver spots. It could be Jordan Tyson from Arizona State, who will have individual workouts later this week. At edge rusher, it's loaded. The best player in the draft might be Reuben Bain. David Bailey from Texas Tech could fall to that spot. If you get either of those guys, those are stars. Or you might have a left tackle that's taken that will protect Patrick Mahomes for the remainder of his career. So the third most likely star is going to be whoever Kansas City takes with the number 9 pick. 310-840-4910. We're also on YouTube and X, at Josh Graham Show on X. On YouTube, Westwood One Sports Night. G Noodles writes in, erroneous from Wedding Crashers. There are maybe 10 Wedding Crashers lines just in that movie that you could yell on a golf shot. Like, do we have, again, the Mel Gibson golf, what was yelled after the golf shot yesterday? If it was instead, make me a bicycle, clown, that would work. You did the motorboat, didn't you? All of these are Vince Vaughn lines, by the way. All of them. Erroneous! Or maybe at the beginning of the movie. Forget the famous actress who made a cameo. You shut your mouth when you talk to me. A lot of quotes from that one. Let's go to Chris, who's in Jacksonville. Chris, before I reveal my working list of 5 here, of the best quotes you can yell after someone's golf shot at the Masters, what are you bringing to the table, Chris?
A box of tissues because he can't see without his glasses.
Oh, that's outstanding. Little Ralph. Are we talking about, oh, shoot. Is that My Girl or are we talking Little Ralphie? What is that? Hold on a sec.
That's all My Girl.
Okay, My Girl. See, I got it mixed up for a second. I was thinking, you'll shoot your eye out. Just getting my movies mixed up for a second. But once you brought up the tissues, yes, My Girl. I think it might be an anniversary this year for that. I think it's 35 years old. All right. Thanks so much for that. That's great. Will Dalton, here's my working list of 5. And you can continue to send us in your submissions. 310-840-4910 or on YouTube or on X. The 5 funniest movie lines that you can yell during a tee shot, with honorable mentions going to, hey, you guys. And for old school Brando fans, hey, Stella. Number 5, show me the money.
Excellent.
Is that better than the changeup from that sequence? I love black people.
Yeah, that's probably better to do that one. Probably.
I don't know. That would be great. I love black people. Yell that out right after a golf shot's hit. Somewhere you have people being nervous in management. What's Josh doing here? There's nothing wrong with saying you love black people. There's nothing wrong with that. It's okay. Just quoting, Rod Tidwell and Jerry Maguire. Okay, number 4. Number 4 on the list. Funniest movie lines to yell during a tee shot. Get to the chopper!
I like that.
Gosh, man. A lot of Arnold lines. See, Arnold's one of the kings of the one-liner. Because you could do that, or you could do, if it bleeds, we can kill it. Kill me! I'm right here! All right. Number 3 on the list. Say what again? That is a tasty burger.
Yes.
Say what again? Number 2. Not the bees! The bees! Not the bees! The Wicker Man. One of the worst movies ever made, but it's so bad that it's actually good. It's so bad, it's actually good. And then I think, without a doubt, the number 1 line that you can yell out after a golf shot that will make people laugh and people will know exactly what you're talking about when you yell it. You can't handle the truth. You want me on that wall? You need me on that wall. That's probably the top shelf. Top shelf. What we can go with. I don't know. Can I hear the delivery one more time from our guy yesterday? I'd love to get this guy on the show.
Give me back my son!
There's a little bit of impression there that makes it good. It's a little bit of impression that I enjoy. Marcel writes in, Leroy Jenkins. Let's go to Seth, who's in Baltimore. I just got done flipping the channel from watching my Orioles get a win today, winning the series against the Giants to the Masters on in our studio here. Seth, Ostros, and Natty Bozhan, where are you going with movie lines that would be great to yell after a golf shot?
Dude, well, the first one would obviously be Over the Line from Big
Over the
Lebowski.
line! This isn't Nom. There are rules.
And then if you like Schwarzenegger, man, I'd be like, get to the chopper.
That's it. You nailed it.
And then last one, I'm showing my age here, but I would definitely just go with the classic Noonan.
Oh. See?
Caddyshack, dude. Come on.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to really project if you were going to do no. It's hard to project that loudly, but yes, that would be a great pull on your part. Appreciate the call. Over the line's excellent. You're out of your element, Donnie. That rug really tied the room together, did it not? Did it not? This will wish the audience understood. This is so up my alley. It's
it is.
This
you
is
can do this all day.
And I will.
Seriously. Yeah.
And I will. Happy to continue taking those submissions. There is a conversation that few are wanting to have about the Oklahoma City Thunder, but it is completely necessary. And we'll have that conversation next on the Josh Graham Show.
Imagine a sports platform that talks with you, not at you. Your stories, your opinions, your one destination. This is Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
Westwood One Sports presents Josh Graham.
Justin Rose up a shot on Rory McIlroy and Cameron Young. The 90th Masters at Augusta National. Cam Young's about to bogey number 9, so he will fall 2 shots back of Justin Rose as he makes the turn. Rory looking to make the turn as well. Scottie Scheffler's just looming a few shots back as well. Few things better than the back 9 final round of the Masters. Getting to the NBA. It is the end of the NBA regular season. And once again, Oklahoma City, the best record in the NBA, the best record in the Western Conference. This is not a conversation that many in league circles want to have, but it's a conversation we need to have, frankly. Oklahoma City is in position to become an all-time NBA team this year. See, since the playoffs expanded to 16 teams back in 1984, they're just the 6th team to lock up the number 1 seed in their conference 3 straight seasons. The other 5 were the Celtics and Lakers in the 80s, the Bulls in the 90s, the Lakers in the late 2000s, the Warriors last decade. That's the list. All 5 of those teams, by the way, won multiple titles during that stretch. Other than maybe the Kobe Lakers of the late 2000s, these are the greatest teams in NBA history. The 86 Celtics, the 87 Showtime Lakers, the 96 Bulls, the 2017 Warriors with Durant. Even though Oklahoma City has slightly fewer wins than last year's championship team, there are still reasons to believe that this year's club is even more impressive. Don't forget that the Thunder were without Jalen Williams, perhaps their second best player, for half the season. SGA missed a dozen games too. Still won 64 games with one to go. Speaking of SGA, he's in line to win the MVP again, and he should. Once again, he's one of the two players in the NBA averaging over 30 points per game, but his shooting percentages are up from last year. His assist numbers are up. His turnovers are down. SGA should be the MVP. But why aren't they being talked about as an all-time team? In the moment, the LeBron Heatles, that was a discussion. In the moment with the Warriors, once they added Durant, we were having that discourse. Not with the Thunder. Why? 3 straight years finishing with the best record in the Western Conference. Will that conversation then take hold if Oklahoma City were to win the title? Because this year, it is truly title or bust for Oklahoma City. There's no scenario that the Thunder loses, they fall short of a title, and you say, well, still a success. Not when you're being mentioned now with the greatest teams in NBA history. So who exactly can beat this team in a 7-game series? Because that's the biggest difference between March Madness and the NBA playoffs. March Madness, you just got to beat a team one time, win 6 in a row, win a title, get hot. You got to win 4 best-of-7 series to get the Larry O'Brien. And in terms of teams that are equipped to beat Oklahoma City in a best-of-7 series, there's only 2 we'd give a shot to. San Antonio, who's had OKC's number in the regular season, and the Celtics we look at now that they have Jason Tatum back. With respect to Detroit, don't see it. With respect to the Joker in Denver, don't see it. With respect to Will Dalton's Lakers and LeBron James, don't see it as well, even if they get Luka Doncic back. The Thunder is in position to become an all-time NBA team, and it's about time we start paying them that respect. But you tell us, if the Thunder win the title, should they be considered an all-time team? 310-840-4910. Or do you still feel that's too soon? Do you still feel that's too much too soon for Oklahoma City? Because the numbers suggest that that's what they are. But what do you say? 310-840-4910. It's been an eventful weekend in Chapel Hill. Greg Barnes, Inside Carolina, going to join us in about a half hour. He's been the one breaking all the news regarding Michael Malone and North Carolina. We'll get to the basketball in just a second. Got some homework assignments for those working on the show here. Mike Martinez, see if you can find this sound from Kenan Stadium in Chapel Hill last night involving maybe the greatest NFL coach ever who was in the news, Will Dalton. See if you can find a graphic that North Carolina basketball put out in the last 24 hours that we could show our audience on YouTube and on X. That we'll get to in just a bit. But starting with the football front, well, kinda. The Savannah Bananas played inside Kenan Stadium, the home of Tar Heel football, last night. And that led to the Bananas doing the most predictable thing. Do we have this sound, Martinez? In his yellow suit and all, Jesse Cole introduced one of the luminaries of Tar Heel football.
Now coming to coach for your Bananas, a 6-time Super Bowl champion coach and the head coach of your UNC Tar Heels. Let's hear it for Coach Bill Belichick!
Glad we were able to find Bill Belichick, the Savannah Bananas cutoff hoodie. Interested to see how his first base coach skills are.
And little surprising that you had roarous cheers there, Will. Is that because maybe most people in attendance there aren't guaranteed Tar Heel fans that are just cheering at the celebrity of Bill Belichick? Because if you're going to a Savannah Bananas game, you might have NC State fans from nearby, Raleigh, North Carolina, or Duke fans right there, or maybe even folks from Wake Forest. It's a split pot here. If it was full of Tar Heel fans, as you would get at a North Carolina football game, don't know if you're getting those cheers for Bill Belichick.
No, I think these are like generic, hey, let's go out and see the Savannah Bananas. Oh, there's Bill Belichick, like that type thing.
Are you surprised they didn't let Jordan Hudson DH?
No, I'm not.
No
surprised.
betting.
I did see her out.
No
there.
betting for the Bananas. Jordan Hudson. Yay!
Yeah, they did. I'm not surprised with that. She was out there. Caleb Wilson, by the way.
She was?
She was out there wearing yellow.
Oh.
Hanging out.
I didn't see any of the pictures.
And
You've been sending me all these nondescript pictures from Chapel Hill, which we'll get to in a second.
Yeah, they had a second day of it, like going on right now, and Caleb Wilson threw out the first pitch. So it's a whole thing.
Bill Belichick threw a challenge flag on a bang play at first. They overturned the call. Because, of course, they did. Got his loud cheer. Was able to walk off. Meanwhile, Carolina's new basketball coach, Michael Malone, he's been busy building his first roster as a collegiate head coach. It started well. He retained one of the two McDonald's All-Americans committed to play in Chapel Hill. But perhaps the best high school prospect in the country, the combo guard Dylan Mingo, who's a North Carolina commit, has yet to reaffirm his commitment to the Tar Heels just yet. They have one of the best transfers in America in town visiting them. That's Wake Forest wing Juke Harris, who averaged over 20 points per game in the ACC. Juke was at Michigan's victory parade on Saturday, so he's visiting some of the top programs out there. Flory Badunga, the big from Kansas, is meeting with Duke today, by the way. We need to talk about this graphic that North Carolina basketball posted on their social media, because this is stirring some people up. It's, for those who aren't watching, it says player development and Michael Malone and a North Carolina pullover holding a Tar Heel basketball, and it's a bunch of NBA players on it. As if to say, Michael Malone developed all of these players that are on this graphic. And in counting how many players are on there, it's about a dozen players. And some of them, fine. Like DeMarcus Cousins, even though he coached him for 1 year, Michael Malone got the reputation of he was the one coach that actually was able to reach crazy ass DeMarcus Cousins. Okay, that's fine. Nikola Jokic, certainly. He started Nikola Jokic when Yusef Nurkic was the toast of Denver, and now Nikola Jokic is the MVP and one of the best players in the world. Mike Malone certainly deserves credit for that. Jamal Murray, fine. Sure, you can have him there. He was the head coach there when Jamal Murray was really starting to thrive. But then it starts to get a little weird. Chris Paul's on here. He spent 1 year with Chris in New Orleans. One. We'll even accept Antoine Jameson, even though there's very little overlap between those two. He kind of caught Jameson at the end of his career, but Jameson apparently had been lobbying behind the scenes to get him hired, so fine. LeBron and Steph Curry being here. Okay.
Coached him in Cleveland.
I think LeBron was plenty developed by the time Michael Malone got his hands on him. Okay. Actually, you tell me how fair it is. 2005 to 2010, he was in Cleveland, or 2005 to 2009. That is
That's a good
young
watch.
LeBron, right?
Yeah.
Wonder if LeBron would agree with this assessment. Hey, did Michael Malone play a key role in developing you? LeBron's in the I don't give a bleep phase of his career, no bleeps given. So
Hey.
maybe he'll give you a real answer there. Steph Curry, he was there as the Warriors were starting to rise. So you have Steph, Clay, Draymond on there. You got to include a Tar Heel and Harrison Barnes. And you just kind of throw Danny Green in there as well.
Well, he was there in Cleveland too.
Yeah, you're not including Danny Green on the list unless it's his alma mater, which it is. So the graphic, it's a little bit of a stretch. Just a little bit of a stretch. But we see what you're doing here. We'll visit with Greg Barnes next hour, talking about some of the ins and outs, how it came to be that Michael Malone is the head coach of the North Carolina Tar Heels. As mentioned, so we're asking that question. If the Thunder win the title, should they be considered an all-time team? 310-840-4910 if you want in. In addition to it being the final day of the Masters, it's the final day of the NBA regular season, as we've been noting. There is a 4-leg parlay that I must hand out. Also, we react to the latest from Augusta. All of that on the way, right here on The Josh Graham Show.
This is Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
Westwood One Sports presents Josh Graham.
If the Oklahoma City Thunder win the NBA title, should they be considered an all-time team? 310-840-4910. That's the question we're asking on the final day of the NBA regular season. Also, our eyes are fixed on a two-way tie for first place at Augusta. Rory McIlroy and Justin Rose at 11 under par. 3 are one-shot back. Cameron Young, Ty Hatton, and Russell Henley are all at 10 under par. Hatton is already in the clubhouse shooting 66, a 6 under 66 today. And looming not too far down the way is Scottie Scheffler. 9 under par, 2 back of the leaders. He's on Amen Corner at the moment. 310-840-4910. We have bets that we need to hand out. We do this every day. Graham's Gambling's the name of the segment. After we get done with that, we'll visit with Greg Barnes of Inside Carolina, telling us how everything went down that ended with Michael Malone becoming the Tar Heel head coach in Chapel Hill this week. Bets. Let's place them. Graham's Gambling.
It's time for Graham's Gambling. Let's make some money.
Let's do that. Checking in on our golf bets. Will Dalton, who did you bet on to win the Masters?
I took Bryson DeChambeau, Scottie Scheffler, and Rory McIlroy.
Basic, you are. Basic.
Gonna make money. I am.
Both those guys are, 2 of the 3 are pretty high up on the leaderboard right now, so good on you. Cameron Young was my pick to win the tournament. Cameron Young's 1 off the lead. Justin Rose is in a little bit of trouble. On 12 at the moment. Looks like he just dropped one in the drink. Not ideal. Chris Gotterup. I had a top 10 finish bet for Chris Gotterup. Don't think we're going to get there on that one. That doesn't look super promising. Chris Gotterup shot 1 over today. Tied for 26. Sungjae M was tied for 27th going into today. I had a top 20 bet for him. He shot 5 over today. So that didn't work out either. Not exactly what you want. Patrick Reed, is he at least going to finish top 20? That seemed like it was a layup. He's tied for 12th at the moment. Let's hope he can at least finish in the top 20. If not, that's a disaster. Betting golf seems like so much fun on Wednesday. And then when the play actually begins, you realize it might not be so fun. Now let's get to the 4-leg parlay I'm itching to give out. Final day of the NBA regular season being here. Will Dalton, are you ready for this?
Let's have it.
Games start at 6 o'clock today. We're on the Philadelphia 76ers first half against the Milwaukee Bucks. That's the first leg. Milwaukee's not trying at this point. Philadelphia needs Orlando to lose and needs Toronto to lose to the Brooklyn Nets in order to clinch the number 6 seed and not have to play in the play-in. I don't think those things are going to happen for them, which is why I'm just looking at the first half. These games are happening concurrently. I think Philadelphia is going to play well in the first half and then kind of look at the scoreboard before seeing what they do with their starters in the second half. So that's the first leg of the parlay. Philly first half winner. Same thinking for Orlando. The Celtics have nothing to play for. Doubt they're even playing starters. Orlando first half winner. That's the second leg of the parlay. The Charlotte Hornets money line at MSG against the Knicks. The Knicks aren't playing anybody. The Hornets need to win to guarantee having a home game in the 9-10 elimination game in the play-in. I think they'll do that. And then the fourth leg of the parlay will Cooper Flagg to score 25 points. My man's going to get 25 shots. He better get 25 points. If you parlay all of those things together, it's plus 120. So your 4-leg parlay to get to plus 120. Sixers first half, Magic first half, Hornets money line full game. Cooper Flagg to score 25 points. That's what we're doing. We're going to make some money off that. We're excited about it. In terms of tonight, Sunday Night Baseball, I like Tanner Bybee. I like the Guardians. Not the biggest Chris Sale fan either. So when it's only minus 140 on the run line, plus 1.5 runs for the Guardians, I'm going to take that. So I'll find something small to parlay with it to get us closer to even money. But I like the Guardians later tonight. They're off to a decent start this year. This is what I'm taking advantage of. Take advantage of perception. Like we won on the Athletics against the Mets yesterday. Perceptions, the Mets are really good and the A's aren't. Well, the A's have been really good to start the season. So, there you go. We're on it. We're on it with the Guardians, and we're on it with the 4-leg parlay. Those are our bets and Graham's gambling today. This segment is sponsored by Progressive Commercial Insurance. They protect small businesses with affordable coverage options. Get a quote today at progressivecommercial.com. There really is quite a bit still to be decided on the final day of the NBA regular season. See, the most important spot up for grabs is that 6th spot in the East. We mentioned it. The Raptors, the Sixers, the Magic are all up for it. But again, Toronto, you are at home. You're facing a tanking Nets team that's 20-61. If you lose that, then the Magic can snag it by winning in Boston. And again, if Toronto and Orlando loses, that's when Philly can beat Milwaukee at home to get there. Hornets Heat, that's going to be your 9-10 game on Wednesday in the NBA play-in. Charlotte, if they beat the Knicks, who aren't playing anybody, they get to host that game. The Western Conference, this is the part that's a little frustrating, Will. And somebody needs to help me out on it. So the Nuggets, all they have to do is beat the Spurs to earn the 3 spot. If they lose, it's going to be the Lakers because the Lakers are going to beat tanking Utah to close the season. I think there's a massive difference between the 3 and the 4 seed. I do, because the 3 means you avoid Oklahoma City until the conference finals. As good as San Antonio is, you'd much rather draw them than the champs in round 2. But Denver is not sending Cam Johnson to they're not sending Cam Johnson, Jamal Murray, any of the top players. None of the top players are going to play. Nikola Jokic is questionable for this game. Like they're not sending Aaron Gordon's not playing, Jamal Murray. Mentioned him. Like Christian Brown's not playing in this game. They seem to be throwing this game away. Don't understand it. Now, they've had injuries this year. Get that part. But this seems like a game that can make a big difference in the postseason. Don't you think?
I do, which is why it's a little surprising they're doing what they're doing. I'm a little distracted. I'm trying to decide, do I want to take the Hornets money line with you? I'm kind of conflicted.
What? I just the Hornets money line, like you got to take the whole parlay. You can't just take one leg of it.
Well, I'm gonna take one leg of it. I don't like to.
But taking the Hornets money line, you're not going to make any money off that. The Hornets are like 13.5 point favorites tonight.
Maybe I'll just take the spread. Maybe I'll take Knicks to cover that.
You're a strange bettor.
I am. I am
strange.
weird. I like to live bet sometimes. I like to live on the edge.
You get no value. You're a strange cookie. That's what you are. We're trying to teach you things here. You just don't want to listen. And that's the problem.
I hate parlays. I just do. I don't like my winning only. It depends on 4 things happening. But you have
to. That's why you have to pick things that you feel pretty comfortable. I don't like long shot parlays. Like this is plus 120 we're talking about. Like we're taking heavy favorites in certain situations to handle their business so that we profit. That's what we try to do. I'm not a huge parlay guy either. I think, set your money on fire if you want to do long shot parlays. That's not my bag. But that's not what we're doing here. I think that parlay is going to get there. I do. Really do. What else is there tonight? The Blazers and Clippers, they're tied for the 8 seed with Portland holding the tiebreaker. Playing in the 7-8 game gives you 2 shots at advancing in the playoffs. Advances to the playoffs versus the do or die 9-10 setting. Portland hosting the Sacramento Kings. The Clippers are at home against the recently healthy Steph Curry and his Golden State Warriors. In whole, 9 of the 15 games on Sunday, they are watchable in that they have postseason ramifications. That's not normal for the NBA. The problem is that still you have so many teams deciding to sit guys out. And that is a frustration that the league wants to fix, but how they fix it, nobody has a really good answer for. Make sure if you haven't already, you're subscribed to the podcast. Search Westwood One Sports Night. You can find our feed. Linnell Willingham and myself hosting shows 5 days a week. Get some of the other great shows that we have over the weekends as well. A lot of content there. And then on YouTube, you can check out our shows. Westwood One Sports Night as well. If you miss any of the video content that we have on this program, it's how you can watch the show. In addition to listening to it, you can chime in real time with us, as well as many of you are doing on our live YouTube stream in the comments there, the live chat that we have. However and wherever you're listening or watching, greatly appreciate that. Now, we check the leaderboard at Augusta. Rory McIlroy stands alone. Justin Rose bogeys 12 after he dumped it into the water. Not having a great time on Amen Corner. Rory is at 11 under par. Cameron Young is about to complete 10 just like Rory did. But Cam Young doing so with a par putt. So now you have a four-way tie for second. It's Rose at 10 under, Cam Young at 10 under, Ty Hatton and Russell Henley. And Rory McIlroy sits alone at 11 under par and only 2 shots back. Two of the best golfers in the world, Scotty Scheffler and Colin Morikawa. It is an amazing leaderboard on the back nine at Augusta National. Exactly what you want on this Sunday. But how exactly did North Carolina fall upon NBA head coach Michael Malone leading its program? Did the leadership at North Carolina panic when some of the names were starting to turn the Tar Heels away? Greg Barnes is the preeminent Tar Heel insider, and he will give us those answers next.
Will Alabama QB Ty Simpson be picked in the first round? The Jets, Cardinals, and Steelers have been mentioned as fits for the pocket passer. The NFL Draft starts April 23rd. Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
Westwood One Sports presents Josh Graham.
My feet are on the ground in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, broadcasting across the country, hundreds of affiliates here on Westwood One Sports. As we welcome in a friend of mine, Greg Barnes, inside Carolina, who I've known for a long time, one of the best college beat writers you're ever going to find in terms of how plugged in he is on all the happenings with North Carolina athletics. This week, the bombshell story is that Michael Malone's the head coach of the Tar Heels. And even though that headline dropped 6 days ago, sometimes it takes a little bit more time for clarity to set in on what exactly led to this happening. Greg, you've been all over it. Here's my perception before you tell me what it actually is. My perception of what happened: Brad Stevens immediately takes his name out of consideration. Carolina turns its sights on Dusty May and Tommy Lloyd. Once they make the Final Four, choose to stay at their respective schools, you start building another list, a contingency list. Iowa's Ben McCollum pops up. Michael Malone pops up. Michael Malone or Ben McCollum is ambivalent, didn't seem much interested based on the reporting. So Carolina pulls the trigger on Malone. Does that sound about right to you? What am I missing so far?
Yeah, that's pretty accurate, Josh. I would say that the only thing I would change there is that when North Carolina started the process, as you mentioned, they had kind of their top 3 or 4 that they were interested in, kind of top tier guys, but they were also sending out feelers for a lot of other coaches. You know, I mean, you mentioned McCollum, Mark Byington at Vandy, Michael Malone, really just to establish a relationship and to gauge interest. And that's one of the reasons they use Turnkey, which is a national search firm. They've done a lot of work with a lot of different schools over the years. And they really just kind of established this large pool of potential candidates, knowing that you at the top of the list, of course, is Brad Stevens. The timing just did not work for that to possibly play out. And then there was that long dry period, leading up to the Final Four. And there was a lot of indication, early in the process that, the further that Tommy Lloyd and Dusty May get into the NCAA tournament, the tougher it's going to be to pull them out of Tucson and Ann Arbor. And we saw that to be the case. And then really after it became clear that Dusty May and Lloyd were not interested in making the trip to Chapel Hill, then you start to see all these other points of contact with McCollum and Byington. Billy Donovan was a name, of course, and then Michael Malone. And as Steve Newmark has told the story, they made the trip out, I guess, to Colorado to visit with Michael Malone on Easter Sunday, spent 5 hours there. Even when they left on Easter Sunday, there was no indication that he wanted the job. And it wasn't until Monday morning that he made the call and said that he would like to be the next head coach at North Carolina.
Well, help me out on that piece. Actually, let's put a pin in that for a second, because you bring up Billy Donovan. How did Billy Donovan fit into the equation? How much contact was there, and why did North Carolina feel comfortable moving on?
So my understanding with Billy Donovan is that as soon as the job became open, and really even before Hubert Davis was actually let go, that he had expressed interest in the job. And kind of behind the scenes, his agent was really pumping his name out there as a candidate. And then I think as the process goes along and it becomes more of a legitimate possibility, well, then maybe the Donovan side of things kind of scaled back a little bit. And it wasn't as gung-ho as it initially was. And I think ultimately what it came down to was with Chicago not finishing their season until April 12th. And that was something that Billy Donovan was not willing to budge on. I think North Carolina knew that they could not wait that long. And even though they liked him as a candidate, there were other candidates that they liked just as much. And so they decided to go ahead and pull the trigger and move forward because the transfer portal, of course, opened on the day that Malone was hired. And that's a very important piece of the puzzle.
You mentioned that Michael Malone wasn't giving indications to North Carolina that he would take the job. And in the press conference last week, he even said that he was telling North Carolina no. So how did interest in the job even start? Is this a deal where agents are doing their thing and saying, my guy might be interested, but you might have to talk to him? What have you heard about the dynamics of the wooing of Michael Malone?
Well, Steve Newmark, from everything that we've been told, he really liked Malone as a candidate from the get-go. And part of that, of course, is that Michael Malone has been working for ESPN. He hasn't been coaching for the past year since he was let go last April in Denver. And so Newmark liked him from the beginning. But the key tie-in is that Pat Sullivan, who is the assistant coach on the North Carolina staff under Hubert Davis, he had some long ties with Michael Malone. And so when Malone would come into town last fall, because his daughter is a freshman on the volleyball team, when he would come in and want to go watch basketball practice, he'd call Pat Sullivan. Sullivan would bring him in, and they had these interactions in that way. So there was already that tie between Sullivan and Malone that Newmark was aware of. And so even though those initial conversations ended with Malone saying, yeah, I just don't think this is what I'm wanting to do, I'm more focused on the professional side of things, there was enough of an indication that, okay, well, maybe we can keep talking with him and maybe change his mind, that they kept trying. And they tried and tried. And, of course, that final pitch on Easter Sunday was enough to convince him to take the job.
Greg Barnes is with us inside Carolina. We're talking about Michael Malone being hired in Chapel Hill. Before we push things ahead, has anything surprised you about how the Michael Malone hire has been received?
That's a good question. And I would say that the only thing that has surprised me is the kind of gusto that the North Carolina basketball family has embraced the hire. As soon as it came out on Monday afternoon, you had this groundswell of support from people like Danny Green and Tyler Hansbrough, Antoine Jameson, who was actually on the search committee, who had some experience with Malone and knew of what he had done. Danny Green, of course, played with him in Cleveland for a month or two. I don't know what it may have been 10 years ago. Jameson did as well. So there was an understanding of what kind of coach he was and the pedigree that he came from. But you also had some of the old timers. I talked with Larry Brown a couple times, and he knew Michael Malone's father, who of course was a longtime coach in Detroit. So he understood what the family was about and knew that component. So even Roy Williams came out in big support of what Michael Malone could do. And so much of that is about Malone's ability to recognize and appreciate what the Carolina basketball family is. I mean, as you know, it's a unique thing. It's just kind of different than what a lot of other schools have. And you have to be able to appreciate that as you're coming in as an outsider. Malone's done that from the get-go, and that's been very important for the family to really wrap their hands around him.
Literally, as we're having this conversation, just got this text from Kenny Williams, 2017 national champion with the North Carolina Tar Heel program. He just texted me that he met Michael Malone, thinks it's a home run. His words, at the end of the day, everybody wants to see better basketball. I think we absolutely made the right hire. So in the end, if they win, then I think most people are going to be okay with it. on the front of trying to build a winning roster, who has actually evaluated the talent that North Carolina is looking to add in the portal right now? What is that process? What does that look like right now?
So it's certainly been a challenge, but I think what Malone has been able to benefit from is that, as I mentioned earlier, Pat Sullivan, he's still on the staff right now in a transition role. Sean May is also still on the staff as a transition role. We expect both of them to continue on Malone's final staff. But then you've got Jim Tanner, who is the general manager that Hubert Davis brought in last year, and he's been working kind of behind the scenes to evaluate talent as well. So, of course, the challenge has been, since Malone stepped into the office, of looking at what Tanner and the coaching staff was considering as potential options when Hubert Davis was the head coach, and seeing which of those players would work for Malone's style of play. And I think Malone's going to want to play very good defense. He's going to want a lot of athletic players, which is a little bit different maybe than what Hubert Davis kind of trended towards. He didn't have a lot of athletic players throughout his tenure. Caleb Wilson and Seth Trimble were kind of the outliers in that regard this past year. So just trying to figure out what type of player that they want, and then trying to make it work quick, because the challenge is, of course, with the portal window only being open for 2 weeks, and Malone stepping into the job the first day that it was open, all of these things have to transpire very quickly. And I think that the key component that North Carolina hopes is beneficial is that it's important for people to understand your players have 2 weeks to enter the portal, but once they're in the portal, they can sign with the team at any point. And so that's some of the communication that Carolina has had with a lot of agents, and saying, look, give us a chance. Don't rush signing wherever you want to go. Listen to our spill, and then you can make a decision. And so far, I think they've had a pretty good response to that.
You know what your next homework assignment needs to be, your next challenge at Inside Carolina, and I know you guys have the resources to do it, is finding a way to reach out individually to every one of the players that were featured on the player development graphic that North Carolina put out last night, just to see how impactful Michael Malone was on, I don't know, LeBron James's career, or Steph Curry's career, or Chris Paul's career. It might be a little bit of a stretch on that graphic, but Antoine Jameson's on there, Danny Green's on there. I'm sure you've probably heard from some of the former Tar Heels who are lauding his ability. So you tell me, you've been following it closely. What's the next biggest story to come down with North Carolina basketball? What's the most interesting thing you want to see play out over the next few weeks?
Well, I think the key component right now is, we were told that when Hubert Davis was let go, that really what kind of cratered support for him was his somewhat unwillingness to handle the fundraising aspect of things. And as a figurehead for a program, yes, your assistants can do it. Yes, the Rams Club can do a lot of the booster aspect of things, but you got to have the head coach involved, wanting to participate, and doing all the things necessary to raise a lot of money. I mean, look what Louisville's done just today. Yes. Word right now is that they've spent $9 million on 2 players. That is a significant amount of money. Carolina, of course, spent $14 million on their roster last year. And a lot of that was because North Carolina tried to make sure Hubert Davis had everything that he needed, not so much him going out and raising that money on behalf of the program. So Michael Malone has to embrace that side of things. He hadn't been in the college game in 25 plus years. It's a total different setup than what he's accustomed to. And so that's really the big thing, is making sure he handles the fundraising part of things and making sure he builds those relationships. And then additionally, make sure that he has some home run hires as assistants, because he's going to need to have some elite recruiters to join him alongside with May and Pat Sullivan.
Greg Barnes, it's good to hear your voice. Congrats on all the work you've done on this story, and hope we can visit sometime in the future. Thanks again.
Thank you, Josh. Appreciate it.
Yeah, there goes Greg Barnes, Inside Carolina, joining us here. Checking the scoreboard real quick from Augusta. Rory's lead is 2 shots now. How come, Will, Rory just can't win and win big and coast and save us the drama. Save us the nerves. How come? He's got to... Your mic's off. You gotta blow a couple of leads. Now you're back with us.
Yeah, I think the answer to that is golf is hard, Josh. It's not easy. It's
Well, I
not
mean,
an easy
when
game.
Scotty Scheffler wins, he cruises. And I never really feel I feel that Scotty's going to make every shot. I feel he's going to make it every shot. And I don't feel that way with Rory in final rounds and in big moments. I don't feel that way at all when I watch him play. Cameron Young, sponsored by Major League Baseball.
It's so
he
cool.
has. It is. Love that
The
on
patch.
his collar, which we'll use as a segue to point out that the Baltimore Orioles have won 5 of 6. That's why I've got the Oriole gear here on. The New
That's
York
just so
Yankees
good
have
for
lost
you.
5 in a row.
Oh, yeah.
The Yankees have lost 5 in a row.
6 of
See,
7.
Had it written down when we were doing shows on Thursday or Wednesday, whatever it was this week. It was Thursday. Was going to give the Yankees some love. You're tied for the best record in baseball. You're 8-3. Was going to give you guys love. And then they lost that night. And I said, you know what? Not going to give the Yankees love. Don't want to do it. Not going to do it. And then they haven't won since. And now I get to point out how they've lost 5 in a row. It's magical.
One of the worst offensive teams in baseball right now.
Love it. Love it. Oh, injected into my veins. All of it. Just,
Yeah.
so good. It's so good. Licking all your tears. Scott Tedderman, your tears taste so good, Scott Tedderman.
We doing movie lines
Licking
again?
all your tears. They're so sweet. Those who know. What is the funniest movie line you can yell after a tee shot at the Masters? One patron had an idea. You'll hear it. We'll react to it next on the Josh Graham Show.
As your official home of the NFL, we'll take you inside the NFL Draft with exclusive interviews and insight of the draft picks and the team selecting them. Get ready. We're 2 weeks away. Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
Westwood One Sports presents Josh Graham.
Josh Graham Show continues, and we're asking this very important question. What is the funniest movie line you can yell after somebody's tee shot? That might seem like an oddly specific question, but during the Masters, which right now is being led by 2 shots by Rory McIlroy at 12 under par. He's on Amen Corner at the moment. A patron channeling Mel Gibson in the 90s thriller Ransom yelled out this following a Rory tee shot.
Give me back my shot!
It's a good movie. Ransom is. If memory serves, there were some curse words, some select things that Mel Gibson said in that sequence that probably would not have fit well. But give me back my son! Iconic. And it begs the question. Funniest movie line you can yell after somebody's tee shot. 310-840-4910. Because there are 2 keys here. It has to be a line that is yelled in a movie. Can't really be something quiet. Like you can't do, frankly, my dear. Can't do that. And it has to be a short one-liner. Short one-liner, and it has to be yelled. It's even better if it comes from a dramatic movie. But here's the 10 that I've compiled with some of your submissions as well. Seeing G Noodles right in. Whammy! Could you imagine that? Golf shot gets hit. Whammy! Anchorman. That might be the most quotable movie of all time. Could think of 5 or 6 Anchorman quotes you could throw in there. I love lamp. That kind of breaks the rule because it's not yelled in the movie. Loud noises. A lot of different characters yelling in that movie too. I'm in a glass cage of emotion. Milk was a bad choice. We could just do 2000s comedies as the full 10 here. But as mentioned, it's funnier when it's from a non-comedy. It's funnier when it's in thrillers, frankly. So here are the 10 that I've compiled so far. Number 10, you get nothing. You lose. Willy Wonka. Number 9, from the movie 300, this is Sparta. Number 8, those aren't pillows. That is a comedy, but Planes, Trains, and Automobiles a classic. Will Dalton, need a ruling. What is a funnier use of the word child? I have a child, Billy Zane in Titanic? Or I've abandoned my child. I've abandoned my boy. There Will Be Blood.
No, it's Titanic. It's gotta be.
I've abandoned my child. Bastard in a basket. Oh, how about I drink your milkshake?
Yeah.
I drink it all up. Number 6. Show me the money.
Love it.
I forget. Did you like that more than the change up? I love black people.
I mean, that one is more like that.
It's a
one's
good
funnier.
message. It's a good
It
message.
is. It's a great message. You're quoting a movie.
You know, quoting Rasheed Wallace.
Yeah.
Big people, small people, white people, black people, everybody. Merry Christmas. Number 5. Are you not entertained?
I love that one. That would be so universally well received. Even the golfer might be like, yeah.
Number 4. Get to the chopper. Get to the chopper. The Arnold ones.
So many.
Come with me if you want to live. I'll be back. Number 3. Say what again? What? What? What's no country I ever heard from? Say what again? Number 2. The bees, not the bees. Wicker Man probably appearing too high on this list. Number 1. You can't handle the truth. You want me on that wall. You need me on that wall. We're taking your submissions, though. Chris in Akron believes he has a submission that's better than anything we just brought up. Chris, I don't want to hear anything else out of your mouth except the movie line. Let's set the scene. The tee box has a golfer on it. The shot is hit. And the next words out of your mouth are...
What's in the box?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, what's in the box? What's in the box? That's...
You don't understand
That
how
wins.
perfect that is.
Chris,
no
thank you
clue.
for the call. That wins. That wins.
How did we not think of this?
How did we not come up with that? It's a great phone call. That's what it is. That's the one. Like, can we hear Mel Gibson one more time, or the fan channeling Mel Gibson?
Give me back my son.
If that person instead said, "What's in the box?"
That's so good.
We're all dead. That's just perfect. It frankly is just perfect. I don't know how you could do better than that. I challenge you, 310-840-4910. I do, but I think Chris and Akron might have taken the cake. I think he might have. This leaderboard, by the way, on the back nine at Augusta, it is fabulous. Scotty Scheffler did end up saving that par, by the way, because of course he did. Scotty just hanging around. He's hanging around. 2 shots back. Now make it 3 because Rory just birdied 13. So Rory has a 3-shot lead. What could go wrong? What could go wrong down the stretch? Haley Rowe writes in, Roy's not joking. No, he is not. 3 shots up, 13 under par. Ty Hatton at 10 under. Russell Henley 10 under. Scotty Scheffler 10 under. Justin Rose 10 under. Cam Young 10 under. Yep, it is a 5-way tie for second place at the Masters. Question is, will Rory McIlroy make a mistake and open the door for one of those 5 players? Now that there's 5 holes remaining? 4 holes. 14, 15, 16, 18. No, my math was right. 5 holes left. Shifting things. This is the final day of the NBA regular season. Games are going to start being played in the next 10, 15 minutes. And this weekend marks the end of a very forgettable NBA regular season. Guys are sitting out everywhere. Friday night, you had 168 players miss their games due to illness, due to injury. That almost sounds like a riddle, Will. 168 guys missing games on one night.
It's a lot.
There are only 15 games. I did the math. That checks out to 11. 11 per game. 11 players missing per game. It sounds like a riddle. And today, same deal. Even in games that matter, the 3 seeds at stake and the Nuggets don't care. No Jamal Murray, no Aaron Gordon, no Christian Brown, no Tim Hardaway Jr., no Cam Johnson, probably no Nikola Jokic either. And it's a shame because that overshadows the final day of the regular season that had some stakes attached to it. But it's frankly been the story the entire NBA season. It's 82 games is too long, so there's no urgency in the players. They're trying to play as little games as possible. And if the players don't care to play, then there's little incentive for us to watch, and the ratings seem to back that up. This dovetails nicely with the tanking problem that's plagued the NBA. This is because you have this strong college draft class coming in. The next few classes aren't that great. So how do you fix it if you're the NBA? How do you do it? Well, for one, you should de-incentivize losing. The league, they're actually trying to take steps to address that, but there are plenty of reasons to be skeptical about whether or not it'll work. Shorten the season. That's where expansion could come in. $10 billion per expansion team. That's $20 billion up front in revenue. That might allow for owners to be okay with tailoring back some of the games on the schedule and maybe costing them some money in the long term. Owners might be thinking if they're costing themselves money in the long term but get the $20 billion payout now, maybe they might just sell their teams before they feel the hit of that when the expansion actually comes into effect and you scale back to maybe 70 games or so. And also just, we talk about it, but partner with the college game. That sport does have urgency. That sport is in a healthy place. That sport can only help your sport. And if you elevate it, you're elevating your sport too. And you could do that with scheduling. You could do that with enhancing your draft product. You could do it by maybe, looking at the one and done rule. But it's been a forgettable weekend in the NBA. It's been a forgettable season in the NBA. And that's a shame. Let's do 2 more quick calls. Eric's in Buffalo. Eric, we're on the tee box. We're teeing off. What movie line are you yelling as the ball's being teed off?
Samsonite. I was way off.
So you're telling me there's a chance.
Silly one.
That's great. Eric, appreciate that. One more. Let's go to Sean, who's in Florida. Sean, give me your movie line on the way out. We're teeing off. What are you yelling out?
Did you touch my drum set?
I know Cops isn't on till 4. Sean, thank you so much. I know you touched my drum stick. Did you touch my drum set? You're going to call me Dragon, and you could call me Nighthawk. Did you touch my drum set? I can do this for the next hour. I just might. 310-840-4910. Continue to send in those movie lines. Also, will college coaches be targeted during this next NBA coaching cycle? If so, well, which coaches are going to be pursued? I used to smoke pot with Johnny Hopkins. It's me and Sloan Kettering blazing that up every day. That's next on the Josh Graham Show.
This is Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
Westwood One Sports presents Josh Graham.
The chase is on at the Masters. The Josh Graham Show. Rory McIlroy now leads by 2 shots. Scottie Scheffler birdieing 16. Justin Rose birdieing 14. Each sit at 2 shots back of Rory, 11 under par. Can they catch him? It's the back 9 at Augusta. A more important question than that. If you're a patron standing next to a golfer on the tee box, what is the funniest movie line that you can yell and be captured by microphones and TV cameras in the moment? Because if you missed it yesterday, there was a patron at Augusta that channeled Mel Gibson and Ransom from the 1990s. Here's how that sounded.
Give me back my son!
310-840-4910. The best submission we've had so far was from Chris in Akron giving us what's in the box as a potential alternative there. Brenda's in Madison, Wisconsin. Brenda, what might you yell as an alternative?
Just a bit outside.
You know, what's interesting about that, Brenda, the shot by Rory went way left. So that might have been apropos. It might have been just a bit outside. Pretty good. Thanks for the call from
Is there
Madison.
a Happy Gilmore line we could use? Like, how are we missing the boat on this?
Jackass! You jackass! But he was doing that prior to golf shots, which don't know how he didn't get thrown out of these tournaments. They're usually pretty good about that. You don't do it before the shots. Trying to think. Well, there are some lines from there that you could say off the
price is wrong.
Uh-huh.
Bleep.
Price is wrong. You eat pieces of bleep for breakfast?
That's good.
Getting to Black Monday in the NBA. There are supposed to be wholesale changes across the league this cycle. There's expected to be somewhere between 8 to 10 openings in the league. The Pelicans, the Blazers, they're already open. And there are so many coaches rumored to be on the hot seat. Chris Finch at Minnesota, Nick Nurse in Philly. The Magic job very well could come free. Doc Rivers is on thin ice in Milwaukee. Maybe it's Billy Donovan moving up into the front office, opening up a coaching spot for the Bulls. You really think about it, more than 25% of the league's coaches about to turn over, maybe a third of the sport. So how many of those openings could be filled by college head coaches? It does seem this cycle there are going to be some college coaches contacted by the NBA. We've already seen an NBA coach get hired into college, Michael Malone, the head coach of the North Carolina Tar Heels. But what college coaches might be tempted to leap to the NBA? Because the reality is some of the best coaches in basketball, they're in the collegiate ranks. It is not only are you responsible for coaching talent in college, you also have to be the GM, especially in the revenue sharing era. And it's more of a year-round job. It's more all-encompassing. This is why you see some that love the idea of the NBA look glowingly at it because, well, there's not as much that's on your plate. You could just focus on coaching. But then there are other coaches that say, hey, in the NBA, you're more of a mid-manager than you are a CEO. You're a much smaller cog in the puzzle. Thus, you have less control over your roster, less control over job security. So, who might be tempted to make that leap? Now, let's start with the names that might get thrown around, but would be surprising if they go. Michigan, Dusty May's not going anywhere. There was the report a week ago where Dusty May said he was not leaving Michigan for any college jobs, which had a lot of people thinking, does that mean that you're interested in going to the NBA? Well, he signed an extension this week. That puts to bed any rumors that he's going to bail on being in Ann Arbor after winning a national championship. Plus, he's already building a monster for next year. Then there's UConn coach Dan Hurley. He's not going. This is a guy, yes, he considered the Lakers, but that was the Lakers with LeBron, and he turned it down. There is not a job that is close to the appeal, that has close to the appeal of that job had a few cycles ago. So here are the names. Here are the names who have never coached in the NBA, but you might see connected to some of these NBA openings. Jon Scheyer at Duke. Especially if he gets the call to return to his home city of Chicago, might be something he has to consider. He has the demeanor you want of a head coach. You often hear the expression, you don't want to be the guy that follows the guy. Jon Scheyer, in some's mind, hey, that's the impossible situation to follow in Coach K's footsteps. He has done it very well. He's a lot like Brad Stevens in the way that he handles himself, which makes sense because Brad Stevens is one of his mentors. Florida head coach Todd Golden, the second name. Already won a title at Florida. Maybe Billy Donovan set the path here for him. If you're Orlando, do you at least check in on Golden to see if he'd be interested? Big analytics guy. Front offices will like that. And a wild card we'll throw out there. BYU's Kevin Young. An assistant in the NBA for 8 years prior to becoming the Cougars coach. Mark Pope leaving BYU to be Kentucky's coach, going back to his alma mater. He was on staff for an NBA Finals runner-up. That was with Phoenix in 2021. He's recruited top talent. He performed decently in the tournament a year ago. There's a lot to like about Kevin Young. So those are the three that we'd have circled. College coaches that might be pursued. While we're talking about the NBA, 310-840-4910, there is a conversation we need to have regarding Oklahoma City, and we'll do that in just a little bit. But Mitch in New Jersey wants in on the top of the NBA. Can anybody knock off Oklahoma City? Is it time for us to have the conversation about Oklahoma City being an all-time team, Mitch?
How's it going, Josh? Hayden, thanks for taking my call.
Yeah.
You know, the Lakers, I know Oklahoma is really favored. They really have some depth. But I think Denver, with Jokic and Gordon, when they're on together, and with Murray, I think they might not be a repeat. You know, like my Dodgers are going for 3, but Jokic is an incredible player. The Lakers looking good. All the injuries. I mean, thank God they didn't release LeBron, and hopefully they can sign for next year, get back everybody healthy. And how about this I know I'm always off topic. I'm kind of like I called before. How about this for a one line? I'm not falling for banana in the tailpipe. That's kind of nerdy, but you know, if you can say it right,
yeah.
it's a funny line, but it might not be for Mr. the golfer there. I don't follow golf.
No. That's perfect. I mean, the banana and the tailpipe, that's Beverly Hills Cop. It's outstanding. Appreciate the call, Mitch. Good to hear from you. How long is that list of teams that can beat Oklahoma City, Will? He says the Nuggets are on the list. Do you have the Nuggets on the list?
I would say Denver, Boston, San Antonio. If you have Luka and Austin Reeves, the Lakers.
No.
I'm not.
No.
If you have them, you beat them.
No.
Or you could.
Wait, what? No. Again, you just told on yourself right there. You beat them, is what you said. Your Laker fan.
You could beat them.
Coming
That's
out.
the conversation we're having here.
No. I'm just quoting you. That's all I'm doing.
I know you are.
I didn't ask you if the Lakers could. I asked if
We
the
asked
Nuggets
who?
could.
The list.
The list, we both agree on Boston and San Antonio could potentially win in a 7-game series against Oklahoma City. I'm on the fence when it comes to Denver. I'm not even considering the Lakers. Not even a consideration.
I know you're not.
That's
you're
a
a LeBron
5-game.
hater.
It's not. LeBron's 41. He's not the best player on their team anymore. Like that's a 5-game series. That's what that is.
Oh, geez.
That's what it is.
With
I'm
Luka
looking at
and
reality.
Austin Reeves?
Yes.
Oh,
That's what that is. That is a 5-game series. If Oklahoma City plays the Lakers. So Denver's really the question here. I don't know if Denver can win 4 out of 7. But because Mitch says so and you say so, fine. I'll include them on the list. But it is about time we have the conversation about the Oklahoma City Thunder. Some in the league are hesitant to have this conversation, but it's fair to suggest that the Oklahoma City Thunder is becoming an all-time NBA team this year. They're in position to be that type of good. Since the playoffs expanded to 16 teams in 1984, Oklahoma City is the 6th team to lock up the number 1 seed in their conference 3 straight years. The others to do so, the Celtics and Lakers in the 80s, the Bulls in the 90s, the 2000s Lakers, the Warriors last decade. All 5 of those teams won multiple titles during their runs. Other than maybe the late 2000s Kobe Lakers, these are the greatest teams in NBA history. The 86 Celtics, the Showtime Lakers, the 96 Bulls, the 2017 Warriors. Oklahoma City is close to putting itself in position to joining those teams. And even though the Thunder has slightly fewer wins than last year's championship squad, there are reasons to believe that this year's edition even more impressive. Don't forget that the Thunder were without Jalen Williams, perhaps their second best player, for half the season. SGA missed a dozen games too. Speaking of SGA, as annoying as his push-offs can be and some of the foul merchant stuff, he is the MVP again. He should be, at least. Last year, amazing season. This year, just as amazing. One of two players averaging over 30 a game. His shooting percentages are up. His assist numbers are up. His turnovers are down. He's the MVP. So it is NBA title or bust for OKC. There's no scenario they fall short. And you're saying, well, that's still a success. Not when you're being mentioned as being an all-time team. But it is strange. In the moments with the 2017 Warriors with Durant, we were saying all-time great team. LeBron Heatles, we were doing similar things. That hasn't been happening with Oklahoma City. And it's strange. Interested why that might be. Because they are, on paper, and with our eyeballs, what they tell us, an all-time NBA team. And if they win the title, they should be considered as such. Coming up, last call for phone calls and the birth of a new benchmark segment for this show. Maybe the birth of a benchmark segment. Keep it here on The Josh Graham Show.
Imagine a sports platform that talks with you, not at you. Your stories, your opinions, your one destination. This is Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
Westwood One Sports presents Josh Graham.
Yes, sir. It's the Josh Graham Show. We're running out of holes in Augusta. Scotty Scheffler is measuring a putt on 18. Two back of Rory McIlroy. And this putt is for par, meaning he can't do any better than 11 under. He hits the putt. He's in the clubhouse. 68 today, 11 under par, two back of Rory McIlroy. Justin Rose, he's on 17, also at 11 back. The reality is, if Rory McIlroy pars out, he's going to win his second straight green jacket. But does anybody have bulletproof confidence that Rory's going to be able to execute that as he's on 16? Anybody? Let's try to be a little creative here. The creation of a new benchmark on this show, perhaps, or disaster. It requires some story time. Michael Malone's the new head coach of the North Carolina Tar Heels. I had covered Duke, North Carolina, Wake Forest, NC State, covered sports in North Carolina for about a decade prior to hosting this show for Westwood One Sports. And had my fair share of interactions with all-time players, all-time coaches. One of those being Roy Williams. And Will, we have Roy to thank for giving us an idea for a segment to do right here on Westwood One Sports, because it was a national news story when North Carolina lost a non-conference game to Marquette during the COVID year. And I asked a question that led to Roy storming out of the press conference. Here's how that sounded, courtesy of 5 years ago, the North Carolina postgame press conference of Roy Williams. One before that.
What would you say to Carolina fans who are questioning whether or not it made sense to schedule this game considering the result?
Well, if I'd known we were going to lose, God Almighty, I wouldn't schedule that. Come on, we can't operate in damn hindsight. God Almighty. If you'd told me we were going to lose, hell yeah, we wouldn't have played the game. If you'd told me we were going to beat the Lakers, I'd have scheduled them. Carolina fans, they're not that dumb. If they are, I got no answers for them.
And then he leaves. So Roy was not very happy. He leaves. We're doing these things on Zoom. Clearly, Roy didn't understand what I was trying to ask. But since it's Zoom and I'm having to mute myself and unmute, if I'm in the room, I can clarify. Wasn't able to. I didn't feel great about that. I'm cringing right now just hearing it. But then a few days later, they play Syracuse, Will. They're at the Carrier Dome. We're on Zoom again. I just don't want to be a distraction. So I don't ask any questions in the press conference. And then it's late at night. If memory serves, it was after a 9:00 game. So this is close to midnight. Roy's on a Zoom call, and I hear him say this at the end of his presser.
I think I heard Matt say this is the last one, and I don't even see if Josh is on here yet. But last week, guys, everybody made it out that I got mad at Josh and I left the press conference. That's not right. You go back and listen to it yourself because Steve Kersher had said, last question. And so that's what it was. I thought it was an unusual question, and there's no it's okay. You know, I've had unusual questions the rest of my life, but I didn't get mad and storm out. It was just that I was told that this was the last question. But thank you guys very much.
I thought it was an unusual question. That's okay.
That part just makes the clip. That's okay.
So this is why we give the hat tip to Roy, because the segment's called Unusual Questions, where we are inviting you for this segment and this segment only to give us a call at 310-840-4910 and ask us anything. What do you want to talk about? It can be sports related, but sometimes it's more fun if it isn't. Aliens exist? 310-840-4910. Are birds real? 310-840-4910. Do flowers exist at night? 310-840-4910. These are the types of questions that we are inviting to ask. And full disclosure, the reason why we're doing this now is because Will Dalton said, there is a question unrelated to anything we have on the rundown of sports today that I've been wanting to ask you all day long. And he won't tell me what it is until now. So what is that question for Unusual Questions?
Why do we say you can have your cake and eat it too? Like, I just want the cake. Like, what does that even mean? Have it and eat it too. Aren't those the same thing? If I have it, I'm going to eat it. This has been bothering me all day.
Why has it been bothering you all day? What context did you hear it and it made you think about this?
I didn't hear it at all. I was just driving up the road to Whole Foods earlier today. And when you're driving and you just start to think about things, same thing like if you're in the shower. And I was like, I've had this thought before, by the way. I was like, why do we do this? What does that even mean? Have it and eat it too. Aren't those the same thing?
Well, it's an old-timey expression, Will.
That doesn't make sense.
I think it even predates the "let them eat cake" Marie Antoinette quote, which some dispute was ever even said. But I think you go back to like the Middle Ages of where that quote comes from. Eat your cake and eat it too, right? Are you asking? I'm confused at the question. Are you asking what that statement means, the idiom means, or why it's an idiom at all? Like, do you at least understand what that means?
Why is it an idiom at all? Yes. Why is that even an idiom? Aren't those the same thing? To have your cake and eat it too? But I just don't understand. It's been bothering me. It really has.
310-840-4910. Let's go to Alex, who's in Cleveland. Alex, see, I want to have my cake and eat it too by answering questions, asking questions, and talking to Alex in Cleveland. Alex in Cleveland, what is your unusual question?
I want to know what conspiracy theories you guys believe in. I'll hang up and let you answer.
Hold one sec, Alex. No. You don't come in here and then drop the bomb. Is there any that you have before we want to start the ball rolling here?
I guess there's a couple of them, but the one that I'm starting to believe in the most is that Freemasons have quite a hand in the world.
Got it. All right, Alex, let me think about this for a second. See, me and Linnell Willingham were discussing this a few weeks ago. Appreciate the call, Alex.
Thank you.
And I learned that Linnell didn't know who Lee Harvey Oswald was. And the reason I knew that is because he asked, what president did he assassinate?
Oh, no.
I'm like, well, if it's a conspiracy, I don't think there's a conspiracy involving the first one. I don't think there was a second shooter inside the Ford Theater in the 1860s with Lincoln. Yeah, I buy the JFK stuff. I buy the JFK. I don't even know if it's a conspiracy anymore to say that aliens exist. But if
No, I don't
that's
think
still
it
a
is.
conspiracy in your mind, then I say I buy that. Those are probably the two big ones. I'm not there when it comes to we didn't go to the moon.
Yeah,
I'm not there.
I don't get it. The Earth is flat stuff. That's
No.
I still don't understand that one.
Yeah.
Like, we have pictures.
Mhm.
There's science to these things.
So that's as far as I'll probably go on that. I'm asking this question. What's the Mount Rushmore of Gatorade flavors? Unusual question. Send them in. This segment only. 310-840-4910. I asked this because I have a fridge full of Gatorades, and I got the Gatorade Zero pack that has Frost, that has some sort of blue and has orange in it. And to you, if you're putting together a Mount Rushmore of Gatorade flavors, what's on that Mount Rushmore? Is there a non-negotiable that has to be on the list? Because I have one that's a non-negotiable. It's Glacier Freeze. It's the light blue. A non-negotiable. It's on the Mount Rushmore.
So basic.
No, I'm saying, well, that's not more basic than lemon lime. Lemon lime is the actual basic.
And it's not even good.
It's the first. See,
lemon lime is not good.
You could still talk me into it being one of the four, though. But Glacier Freeze is neither basic. It's not a question. That one's on the Mount Rushmore. There's no debate, Will. That one's one of the four. I won't hear anything else about it. I think orange does belong on the list. I think orange might have the highest batting average. There are some people that don't like lemon lime. There's some people that don't like the blue flavor. I haven't met anybody who said, you know what, I'll turn down an orange Gatorade.
Grape is totally overrated.
Are we talking about the purple flavor or grape? Because those are different things.
Aren't they the same
There's
thing?
Riptide Rush. No, there's Riptide Rush.
Riptide Rush. See, I'm glad you went here. Riptide Rush is the best flavor.
Oh,
it's the best.
Easy now.
Followed
Settle
by
down.
kiwi strawberry.
No. Fierce strawberry is better than kiwi strawberry. The one that's like light pink, that's really good. I might even mix it up and get Cool Blue in there too. Into the four.
Cool Blue is very good.
So Cool Blue, orange, Glacier Freeze,
and melon flavor.
Is there a melon flavor? I would presume there is. I would presume there is
ice.
somewhere. We need to get back to the phones. Let's go to Bill, who's in Toronto. Bill, you're on Westwood One Sports at the Josh Graham Show. What's your unusual question?
Well, Josh, first of all, with the Gatorade, it's orange all day long. Everything else is second for me.
Thank you.
Listen, I got a question I want to ask. Up here in Toronto, look, you can't get a damn ticket to the Toronto Maple Leafs, and they're the worst team in hockey for the last 50 years. You can't get a ticket for this team. Number two, the Blue Jays been selling out since I don't know, as far back as we can go, and we've had some pretty bad teams. And our NBA team does quite well. Now, we got 3 of the 4 up here. What happened to the NFL? We're playing all these games all over the bloody world, and they're all looking for a place to put a team, and we can't put a team here in Toronto?
Well, how close is Buffalo? Didn't you guys have home games for Buffalo like 15 years ago? roughly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's right there.
We had home games with them, and the games that you used to give us was a bad Buffalo team and a bad other team. If you had given us like something half decent, let's say I don't know, with their quarterback they have this year, maybe we might have put some people in the stands. But I'll tell you this, very simply put, I think the real reason is because of Buffalo, and Buffalo doesn't. Buffalo wants us to pay this big fee, of which we won't pay. I say once you hit that border, you no longer control. Buffalo doesn't get the rights to Ontario, which is our province up here. I can't believe we don't have a team. It's incredible. We sell out everything, and we show up. And the great thing is, if Buffalo was going to complain and say, "Hey, you know what? They're infringing on our rights." Well, you know what? We only play 9 home games a year, so they can do the scheduling sort of like, 1 week Buffalo's away, 1 week we're home, and then this way, it's like you almost have 18 home games. Buffalo can come up here to watch games, and we can go down there to watch games like we do. But I don't get why we're not.
You asked the question. I understand why you're upset. I get it, Bill, and I appreciate the call. But I gave the answer. The answer in their minds is, geographically speaking, you have a team that's right there, and there's only 32 of them. Like, again, I'm a Baltimore Orioles fan. I live in North Carolina. In North Carolina, the closest Major League Baseball team we have, and we're one of the 10 most populated states in the country, is the Washington Nationals, or if you go the other direction, the Atlanta Braves. Both would require at least a 5-hour drive to go watch those teams play. So again, it doesn't make sense in some circles when it comes to the geography, but I could see that that's why the NFL does that. And they say, and they'll point to the attendance of those games not being so great 15 years ago as a means to say, hey, we gave you a shot. It didn't work out. You didn't show as much of an appetite as we would like to see. You point out the teams weren't as good at the time. And also you've got the Buffalo Bills geographically right there. Let's go to Buzz in Las Vegas, who believes he has a flavor that hasn't been talked about of Gatorade and unusual questions here that belongs to the Mount Rushmore. What flavor is it, Buzz?
Okay, so I'm going to do a rapid fire to answer some of your questions, and then I got a question for you guys as well. So here you go. Punch is the George Washington of Gatorade. End of story.
Fruit punch? Fruit punch?
Yes, okay. Let's.
Do you want a red mouth when you walk around? You want to look like a vampire? That's what you want, Buzz?
For the taste. It's for the orange is there's hardly any taste in orange. Fruit punch has a nice, good flavor. Now,
so you want to walk around looking like a vampire? That's what you want to do, Buzz?
Hey, that's fine. NASA planted reflectors on the moon, so you can actually shoot a laser beam that does a 180 and it comes back to you, to Earth. That proves that it was on the moon. Third of all, having your cake and eating it too. Imagine you're a little kid and it's a birthday party and you got the coolest cake in the world, and then your mom starts slicing it up and you start crying because you want to keep your cake, but you also want to eat your cake. It's like wanting to sell your car, but you don't want to sell your car. You want to keep driving it. Well, you can't have your cake and you can't eat it too. You got to do one or the other. That's what that means. Third of all, and here's my question for you guys, okay? It's kind of sports related. Imagine you're a character in a famous sports movie, but except for you can't be the main character in the movie. Which movie and which character would you guys be? I'm going to hang up and let you guys discuss.
Thank you. What character would I like to be? I'd like to be Floyd in True Romance. I'd like to be Brad Pitt, super handsome, and have nothing to do each day but lay on the couch, hang out, and eat food and maybe participate in some activities that are less than legal. That's what I'd probably like to do. That's how I'm answering that question.
I'd like to be Spider-Man.
You can't be the main character, is what he said.
Oh, so Dalton and Roadhouse will be no-go too.
That's
okay,
kind of
I'd be
the whole
Han
point of
Solo.
the question.
Han Solo in Star Wars. He's a cool
Some would
character.
argue Han Solo is the main character.
He's not. It's Luke Skywalker in those movies.
Let's
I know
go to
my stuff
Ryan
on this.
Let's go to Ryan, who wants in. I'm being told it's Ryan, who's in Indiana, but is from Arkansas. Hell yeah. 310-840-4910. You have the final unusual question. Let's make it a good one, Ryan.
Well, we play. I'm from Fayetteville, Arkansas, and we have like 4 home games in Fayetteville and 1 in Little Rock. So I can understand where the guy from Ontario was coming from, but I disagree with him. They should all be played in the main area. And then as far as the cake and eat it too, yeah, it's all about like you want to see the beauty of the cake. And then when you eat it, you kind of ruin the cake. Right?
That
actually makes a lot of sense.
Are you okay with any of these explanations? It seems that you've been
I understand
learning something here.
Because I had some beautiful Star Wars birthday cakes as a kid. And like I just wanted to keep looking at them. But you eventually have to eat it. So I understand now. I have learned something today, genuinely, because of the
Ryan,
segment.
did you have a question for us on the way out, or did you just want to help us out? Think we lost Ryan. So did we fall upon a Mount Rushmore that we can agree upon here? Because all you were throwing at me, I say kick rocks to the idea of fruit punch. I'm not walking around like a vampire.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Get out of here.
Overrated.
Fruit punch.
So is grape.
In terms of the best flavors, though, Glacier Freeze is a non-negotiable. It's on the list.
Sure.
Orange is there too.
I'll give it to you. I go.
I don't
kiwi,
want glacier. I don't want
here.
glacier cherry. I don't want glacier. I don't want any of the like white or gray, any of the clear ones. I don't want any of that.
Can we get Riptide Russian here?
No.
Oh, jeez.
It's fine. It's not in the top 4. Again, this is really rare air that we're trying to fly here. Rare air that we're looking at. It makes me want to include lemon lime because it is a great feeling when you're hot and it's going to be in the 90s every day next week in North Carolina, and then it hits your lips. That lemon lime flavor. It is what Gatorade is. So I just think because it's the OG that I want it in my Mount Rushmore. I want it there. So are you saying the 4th flavor is strawberry kiwi? Is that what I'm hearing? Because I don't even know if that's a traditional, or do you want to go Cool Blue? Is Cool Blue that 4th?
I think my favorite would be Cool Blue.
Yeah, I think so too.
Of those.
So that's our 4. There it is. We're settled. We've settled a lot today. You learned about eat your cake or have your cake and eat it too. We have our Mount Rushmore for Gatorade flavors. Cool Blue, lemon lime, Glacier Freeze, and orange. And we know what the best line. Do we have the Mel Gibson line one more time? If you're at a golf course and you yell something after a golf shot, a movie quote such as this patron did at Augusta yesterday.
Give me back my son!
We learned that the best alternative is what's in the box. We learned that as well. So we covered a lot of ground today. What do you have to close out today's show, Will, when we put this show to bed?
A man got arrested, but that's not where the story ends.
Next.
Will Alabama QB Ty Simpson be picked in the first round? The Jets, Cardinals, and Steelers have been mentioned as fits for the pocket passer. The NFL Draft starts April 23rd. Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
Westwood One Sports presents Josh Graham.
Closing out the Josh Graham Show. Thanks to Will Dalton producing this program and Mike Martinez taking your calls. Greg Barnes, Inside Carolina, dropping by. If you missed any of the show, you can find it via podcast, searching Westwood One Sports Night, our feed there. And make sure to find our YouTube channel as well, which is growing with a lot of content from the shows. So if you miss anything, you can find the best of what we do there. Rory McIlroy always has to make things interesting. If he does not double bogey or worse 18, he will win his second consecutive green jacket. However, on the par 4 18th hole, Rory has found the sand on his second shot. The good news again is he doesn't need to go get up and down parring this hole to win the green jacket. He just needs to get it up and 2-putt in order to win the green jacket. Seems that he should be able to do that. Mike Wickett going to take things over after we're finished here. Will Dalton is a crazy person and is going to be on Westwood One Sports until 3 a.m. this morning. Tomorrow morning, after starting with us at 4 p.m. Eastern. That's crazy. But
hey, I like it.
So
here,
this
okay?
This is not putting your day to bed. It's just putting this show to bed. So let's do that.
So
let's put the show to bed.
Yeah. Police are calling this guy a habitual felony offender. So I guess this has happened more than once. And Brighton Faison is this guy's name. He's 30. He lives in Miami. And the situation here was there was a scuffle of some kind in a public place. And so officers responded. When they get there, they find this dude running around naked in the street outside the establishment. But that's not where the story ends. They had to deploy a taser on him. And then he continues to resist. Finally, they got control of his arms and legs using multiple sets of handcuffs. But that's still not where the story ends. They place him in the back of the squad car, and then he starts to urinate all over the squad car.
Whew.
Yeah. That's then where the story ends. They took him to get the type of help he needs.
Yeah, what kind of help does he need, Will?
I don't know. Some type of evaluation? I don't know. Got hit with 4 felony charges.
Not 1, not 2, not 3. Let's snap reaction to this. Not the story you just gave. Rory McIlroy got out of the sand, barring an absolute calamity. He's going to be able to 2-putt his way to a second straight green jacket. He might be the best European golfer of all time. I think that's fair to say. After winning a second straight green jacket, something that hasn't been done since Tiger did it nearly a quarter century ago. Obviously, one of the few that has a career slam to his name. Is he the best golfer in the world right now? That's another question that you can ask. Because Scottie Scheffler finishes second. Scheffler won 2 majors last year. It seems we have a real Tiger versus Phil conversation in golf again, and it's between these two. And Tiger separated in the mid-2000s from Phil, where that really wasn't much of a debate anymore, kind of like with Brady and Manning at one point. Rory misses the par putt, but free to tap in order to win his green jacket. He's going to, but he's going to let Cam Young finish it out. Is Rory the best golfer in the world now that he's won the Masters? That's a real debate that you can have. What a fantastic story it is for Rory figuring it out. He's getting emotional on the 18th green. He has a tap in to win his second straight green jacket. That's fabulous. Good for Rory McIlroy. Good for the game of golf. And this is the first major of the year. So now getting Rory versus Scottie finishing 1 and 2 with the Masters for the 3 remaining majors. That's going to be awesome stuff. Outstanding stuff, really. Let's close things out. That's been Put It to Bed. This has been Westwood One Sports and the Josh Graham Show. Mike Wickett's on the way.
This